Hello and welcome to Mobile Field Success. Today we will be going over estimates and invoices. By now you should have reviewed the Service Titan series for best practices with mobile estimates. Now we are going to go into more detail on how to utilize these functions in our business. First, we will go over editable SKUs. These are task items in our system that require information to be typed in as they are a generic SKU. This means all SKUs that are blank or state to be completed by tech here must be filled out by the technician at the time of job. Summary of findings, for example, must be completed on every single call. We may change exactly where that will be inputted in the future, but it must always be documented on the job. You can see here in the image provided that we have a SKU that is requiring information to be filled out. Next, we will go over the difference between estimates and invoices. As shown in the videos, estimates are where you build options for the customer and convert them to a sold invoice. Task items should never be added directly to the invoice unless it is a discount. Anything appearing on an invoice will be considered revenue that needs to be collected and reported on. If you need to add more items to your invoice, then you must add an estimate. Once you sell on that estimate, you can choose to keep your original invoice items and add more items to your invoice. Next, we are going to go over sold for now versus sold for later. After selling an estimate, a pop-up will appear asking if the work will be performed now or performed later. If you're doing the work the same day, you will always select sold for now. If you are returning, you must select sold for later. When you select sold for now, items will appear directly on your invoice. This will now be considered collected revenue, and payments are expected to be collected. When you select sold for later, your current invoice will be left blank. The office will be booking a return visit, and no more edits can be made from the field side. Payments will need to be taken if over $1,000 from the estimate side because it is a sold for later job. An easy way to remember most actions are if it deals with the estimate, then you're going to go in the estimate tab for actions. If it deals with the invoice, then you are going to go to the invoice tab for actions. Here is an image of the pop-up that will appear after you hit sold on an estimate. If you ever select the wrong option or the customer changes their mind, simply go to your Estimates tab. Click the three dots on the estimate and change it from your original selection. As you can see here, I selected Perform Work Now, but I actually need to select Perform Work Later because the customer told me they need to leave for the day. Next, we will go over emailing estimates and invoices. Customers have the right to receive all options provided to them during their visit. If work was not sold, you will go to your Estimates tab and email the estimates by clicking the Actions button. If work was sold and completed, you will go to your Invoice tab and email the invoice by clicking the Actions button. So, as a reminder, if it deals with the estimates side, then we are going to be working in the Estimates tab. If it deals with the invoice side, we're going to be working with the Invoice tab. This is the same for collecting payment, which we will go over in more detail in a different series, but it is the same as collecting payment. If you need to collect payment for a sold for later job, which is an estimate, you're going to go to the Estimate tab and collect. If you need to collect on the invoice, you're going to go to the Invoice tab and collect. If you completed work and you also provided options for the future for the customer, you can simply go to the Invoice tab and email the invoice, and there will be a selection to include additional estimates. You just check that off, and then the customer will receive their invoice and all the estimates that you provided. Finally, we're going to go over the importance of owning your invoice. As you are the professional in the customer's home, we expect that all documentation is filled out and all required tasks are completed. So before leaving your job, review the invoice. All tasks and materials should be accurate. All money should be collected. All notes should be filled out where required. All signatures should be obtained. It must be specific, clear, detailed, have pictures, have warranty information, and have all observations notated. This is to protect you and the company and make sure that we're providing 7-star service to all of our customers. That was the end of our estimates and invoices overview. If you want to learn more, please watch the other videos in the Mobile Field Success series.